All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena, Sunday edition. That's right, post-fight show. But we're gonna go beyond the fight. But we're gonna stay within the heavyweight division. We're gonna look at what's gonna happen next. Obviously, in about 2 weeks, we have Fury versus Wilder 3. So we gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about AJ and Usyk again. Apparently, the rematch will happen, but we're gonna talk about whether that's a good idea. And the phone lines are open, so I want to hear from you guys. Also in the chat, don't forget to subscribe to the BDA membership program. You can help the channel by subscribing to the BDA membership program. You get access to special emojis and access to exclusive film analysis videos. Don't forget to do that. And yep, let's get the party started. All right, we have on Discord Mr. BDA Chief and Recognize the Matrix. Can you guys hear me okay? Or
I can't hear you. What did you just say?
Stop it, man. All right.
Limit Charlie, my friend. Limit Charlie.
Yeah, I think I fixed the mic, so it should be okay. We'll see.
You suck. You will die.
All right. So, all right, guys. Let me just pull out some notes that I wrote here. So I was listening to Roy Jones on IFL TV. He was saying, we don't want to see Fury against Usyk. Boring match, chess match. Boxing doesn't need that right now. He also said Usyk cannot, I repeat, cannot get better, but AJ can. AJ didn't get blown out, so that's a good thing. And when AJ did the things right, I guess when AJ did the right things inside the ring, he was controlling the fight. So basically, he's saying there is hope for AJ in the rematch. What do you guys think?
Yeah, of course. But it doesn't change the fact that he got totally outboxed.
Right. Doesn't change that fact. No, but in a rematch, I mean, he's saying that Usyk cannot get better. So, like, AJ has the possibility to change the course of the outcome. But just making some changes.
With that, yeah.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I mean, Usyk can. I mean, he could maybe step it up, maybe more aggressive. There were instances where I was like, well, it seems like you're ready to get AJ out of there. But he didn't want to do it. I mean, why would you? You're winning the fight, but if he needed to, he could have.
The zone commentating was talking about how they're not too sure. Somewhere like in the 8th or the 9th round, where he like buzzed up AJ, they were like, I don't think he could take many of those. Remember they were saying it at the same time while they're saying this is a great fight. They're like, I don't think AJ could take any of these. So obviously, yeah, he could do better than that. He can say, I had him hurt. I know how to hurt him. I'm just gonna execute that better. So I don't know what Roy Jones is talking about.
Right. I mean, he did hurt him, and this is another point I want to touch upon. I mean, some people keep saying that we over criticized AJ. You know, basically, they didn't like the fact that we said that Usyk had better boxing skills than AJ. Some of them, like, they took that as if we were saying that AJ is a bomb. He has no boxing skills, right? Also,
of course,
they kept saying, every time we said Usyk can hurt AJ, when we said that a cruiserweight had enough power to hit, they called us crazy. There's no way. Look at the size difference. You guys don't know shit about boxing. How can he hurt AJ? That's impossible. So they hated the fact that we said that. And yeah, again, the fact that we said that Usyk was too small, they just didn't want to hear that. All they wanted to hear was AJ is so great, he's so big. If he lands one punch, it's over for Usyk. Like, Usyk is gonna have to be running for his life.
Look, I don't think that fight was easy. Now, I think he clearly won the fight. I think Usyk clearly won most of those rounds. You know, maybe 2 or 3 he lost, in my opinion. But the fight itself, I think he won just about every round. But the fight wasn't easy. You could tell by Usyk's face that the fight wasn't easy, but can AJ do better? Of course. As of right now, if they were fighting a rematch, I got Usyk. Why would I go against Usyk when I already thought he was going to win the first time and then he does it? Of course, like normally, I'm going to say I got Usyk again if they fight in 6 months, in March or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, we just saw one fight. We saw one fight and he won. Usyk won the fight. So if you're a betting man, you're gonna bet on Usyk again. Why would you fucking bet on AJ?
Why would you bet against him?
Unless you want to make a big win.
You picked him to win the fight. You picked him to win the fight. He wins the fight.
Well,
but now I'm gonna go with AJ in the rematch.
Unless you're a gambler and you're ready to lose some money, then sure, you want to make a big win. Although I'm curious as to what the odds are going to be for that rematch. Eddie Hearn talked about him wanting the rematch early next year. That would make sense. We're in September, almost October right now. But yeah, that rematch would happen. I was listening to another interview with what's his name, Gareth Davis. He was also on IFL TV, and he was saying that AJ should avoid Usyk. It's like he should fight the loser of Wilder versus Fury. That would make sense though. If AJ decides to fight the loser of Wilder Fury, he sits on the sideline. Well, he wins that fight, right? And then he sits on the sideline and then waits for the winner of Usyk against Fury. But this you know how the politics of boxing are. This probably would never fucking work out.
Yeah, I don't think Fury would be interested. Assuming Fury should, right? I think Fury should win the third fight, but you never know what could happen. Mm-hmm. But if let's say he does win, he might not be interested in a Usyk fight. Let's say AJ changes his mind. He's like, I'm not doing the rematch. He might do it if like Usyk is just gaining more traction and he's stardom. Fight's worth a lot of money. He said that he wasn't interested in fighting Usyk in the past.
Yep. Jeez, I hear a lot of background noise. I think Reckon is crossing the street. He's jaywalking. That's why they're all screaming at him. No, but you know what, man? Josh was in a bit of a hard place right now because, like you said, he lost the Usyk fight. It's unlikely that he wins it. It's possible, but it's unlikely at this point. Mm-hmm. So what does he do? Apparently, he wants to go straight for the rematch, which all credit to him because that's what he did against Ruiz too. He didn't wait around and let me have a tune-up here or there, which is why you got to respect Joshua for that. But whether he can beat him or not, look, the only thing I can see, Butch, I'm hearing a lot of revisionism from people because a lot of people were saying Joshua's too big, and on top of that, he's good. So that combination is going to be bad news for Usyk. Now I heard a couple of comments where people are saying, well, he should change trainers. Always the same, after a guy loses, it's the trainer that's at fault. Mm-hmm. I mean, what could Joshua have done? He was doing good with the body shots. Even his trainer told him, hey, keep going with the body shots. And then he stopped. Why? Because it's hard to, it's easy for us to see on the outside, hey, he should do this, he should do that, it's working. You got to keep yourself into perspective of the boxer. He's in there, he's the one taking punches, he's the one weary of what's coming. His brain has been trained to see things and work at the same, look out for multiple factors at the same time. But that's tiresome. That's what we always talked about, how tiresome it is to be in that ring and to be thinking. And so it's easy for us to say he should have done this, he should have done that. But when he's tired, the brain can no longer compute. And then on top of that, Usyk is a guy that will make you overcompute. And he'll throw you all sorts of feints, in and out movement, punches on top of that. So, I mean, Joshua could, in theory, he could improve if he continued to go into the body. But I think the tactic of just barging in there and trying to get Usyk out of there the way Chisora did, it's only going to end up worse.
That's
for him,
something I want to touch upon. And before we continue, Luke Peterson, thank you for your contribution. He says AJ losing could mean Fury loses focus and gets beat. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Fury was really thinking about AJ that much. But you never know. But thanks for the contribution.
Hey, it's true. It could happen. Maybe Fury goes like, shit.
I think it would motivate Fury. I mean, not motivate, but he would
wake him up.
yeah, like, hey, listen, upsets can happen. Everybody's saying that you're gonna go in there and just beat Wilder again. You never know. Don't be too confident. So you were saying that the game. So okay, so AJ, we can agree that he had a game plan, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What was the game plan? What was the game plan?
It looked to me like kind of fight him in the pocket, mid-range type of fight, and he never deviated from that.
Encounter him, obviously. Yeah.
Right. So when he was busy getting countered, he was still looking to counter Usyk, but it just didn't work out.
Right.
Bad game plan.
And it never really seemed like he decided to it seems like he decided to stick with that same game plan throughout the whole fucking fight. Like, I never heard anything from his corner telling him to switch it up. Mr. BDA mentioned that go to the body, but that was pretty much it.
I mean, there's only so much the corner can tell you. I mean, people sometimes say that, like, well, he should change his corner. It's very doubtful. Sometimes, especially at this level, when you have guys like Joshua and Usyk who are at the top of the top, there's not much a trainer can do. I mean, they're seeing, if the trainer's seeing it, it's likely that the top guy is looking at it too. I mean, look, you never know, but this whole thing of let's get a new trainer, it sounds like just a quick looking for a quick fix.
Okay, hold on, but sometimes it works. We saw with Fury, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I mean, but the fact that he got Sugar Hill indicated that he already knew what he needed, which was to just be aggressive. Because I mean, even Fury's father told him. He said all along that he needs to fight coming forward and not backing up against Wilder.
Okay, at some point in the fight, AJ, like, he was losing the fight. I never felt like AJ understood that. There was never a sense of urgency in the guy.
See that. I agree, and see, Bucho, that's where the stamina issues came in place, because people kept saying before the fight, his stamina's good, and we were saying, look, even in the fights that he's won recently, in the middle rounds, he tends to run out of gas a little bit and has to clinch in there to get his second win, and in this time, Usyk was forcing him to fight at a pace that he wasn't used to. It wasn't exactly a pace where he got him tired and he couldn't continue, because he did make it to the final bell. But it was a operational tempo that took him out of his comfort zones, just ever so slightly, and that was enough for him to not be able to push it more.
Well,
you know what I mean? Because you never saw see, that's the main point. You're saying, why didn't Joshua go for it? I don't think he had the stamina or the confidence to do it. And those two things are related.
Since the get-go, he didn't have the stamina.
Cutting weight and wanting to box, sometimes that's good. You got to judge that on the opponent you're fighting. Right, so you're fighting a very cerebral fighter who's all about movement. He's like coming in light or lighter than guys that you usually face. Maybe you can't box with him. Maybe you can't keep up with his movement. But maybe you hurt him with a big shot if that's your game plan, right?
I'm surprised he didn't expect that, though. I'm surprised. Who did he spar, man? Like, I mean, I would be sparring really like small guys, small cruiserweights, and I would tell him just run around or move, like, I don't know, because come on, he looked so surprised. He looked completely surprised. And by the way, you're the bigger guy. You're supposed to impose your size from the get-go. From the beginning, man. AJ starts boxing the guy, trying to box the guy. Come on, that was a terrible game plan, though.
It's interesting. Every time there's a fight, well, almost every time, Bucho and I have diverging thoughts. Like, Bucho's he demands more. Which is okay. It's fantastic. I think he's right.
I know I know there are limitations too. I'm not like hit harder, Mike. Remember?
Exactly. Yeah.
I was saying that shit.
Remember that one? Hit harder, Mike. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, but you're right. Like, but so in other words, I think that ties into the whole thing before the fight too, Bucho, where Joshua said he wasn't doing any road work, he wasn't doing any mid work. He was just doing heavy bag work and sparring. Now, sparring gets you in condition. But if you're sparring and doing strength and conditioning and jogging and doing sprints, I mean, that takes you a good long way too in your sparring and your in-ring performance. So I don't know if he was a bluff to what he was saying about how he didn't have any road work, or maybe it's true. And if it's true, maybe he should add a little bit more road work. Stamina. Because let me tell you something. Usyk, without his incredible stamina, because he had to work in there too. Don't get it twisted. He had to work. It might not look like it, but the guy took a big old deep breath after the final bell sounded. If he didn't have that conditioning, I don't think he beats Joshua. It was a big part of him beating Joshua, that stamina. So I think Joshua should be mindful of that. He should work on his cardio, and he should work on working the body, attacking the body more in the next fight, so he can take some of Usyk's stamina out of the game.
Right. Guys, let's take a phone call. 626, you're on the air. 626.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Undercover Agent Chris K.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, I didn't think you guys were going to take phone calls this early, but yeah, someone just mentioned it. I don't know what maybe it was recognized just a couple minutes ago. Maybe it was Mr. BDA about maybe AJ should have just banked on landing really hard shots rather than trying to box. Because when I rewatched the fight this morning, I think it was round 6 maybe, AJ landed 2 really good right hands, a straight and a right hook. And, man, that froze Usyk. And Usyk just basically shut down for a few seconds. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those things, right? It's like AJ tried to box the boxer and didn't work out for him. Maybe he should have just banked on landing a few really clean shots. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the rematch looks like.
Yep, that's true. But also, we forget that, AJ got hurt. So, Usyk can hurt that guy. So, people who are saying, AJ should just come forward and open up. Is that what people are saying? Is that what people want to see? Usyk open up so he can hurt? Yeah, get countered and hurt.
I mean,
this isn't Paulie Malignaggi, guys.
He was getting countered already. I mean, he was getting hit with straight lead lefts or lead rear hands from Usyk. That's not a good sign, right?
Right.
You know what? Just to clarify, I didn't say Joshua, because I'm having a hard time hearing the call, but I didn't say that Josh should go for bigger shots. If he's going to go big, then he should go to the body. I'm talking just body. Anything else than that, he should just keep doing what he was doing last night, which was tap, and try to line him with the right hand and the jab. Other than that, go with your body shots and every time Usyk jumps in. Because if he just goes after him, which he's already did, he's going to get tired even faster, and he might even get stopped.
Right. But some of those body shots from AJ were pretty clean, and they looked pretty hard. He had a nice little shovel hook in round 5 or 6, which I've never seen him do before. And he was throwing right hooks to the body. I mean, those sounded really hard. They were freezing Usyk. And the same for Usyk, too. I mean, he was throwing that straight left to the body, and that seemed to really bother AJ. So, yeah, maybe more body work from both guys in the rematch would be nice.
Yeah, definitely. That would be also more action. But, Chris, we got to move on. Thank you for calling in, all right, man?
Sure.
Take care.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
All right, let's take another phone
call.
Oh. Let's just take a phone call. 612, you're on the air, 612.
Hey, guys. So, Tim Mania from Minneapolis. And I saw the highlights again. I rewatched the highlights of the fight. Yes, I do agree that the rematch is going to be very difficult for Anthony Joshua because what I really noticed was Alexander Usyk was getting the superior foot positioning always. And what I didn't see from AJ is whenever he's trying to exit the right hand, he was not catching Usyk with the left hook when he was moving towards AJ's left. So that's something he could employ, but I really hats off to Alexander Usyk for fighting the way he did. And this is like a fantasy tournament. I kind of suggest when I saw the caption "Future of Heavyweight," White versus Fury, Usyk versus Joyce, Wilder versus Joshua, Hergovic versus Frank Sanchez, and Tony Yoka versus Andy Ruiz. So I just wanted to know your thoughts, and thanks everyone.
All right, thanks for calling, man. We'll talk about those fights later on because we got a lot of phone calls. But thanks, man. Yeah, we got more other fights later on, but let's stick with the heavyweight division right now. 470, you're on the air, 470.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so yesterday's fight, I called in before the fight, and it was just clear to me that Usyk's boxing is just on a superior level to Joshua's. Complete mistake to for Joshua to attempt to box Usyk. I think Joshua. I think when you become an Olympic level champion and you're the world champion, I think in his mind he was like, well, I'm a boxer, what I'm trying to say is he needs to humble himself. He's got to fight like a savage. He can't. I know he wants to go in there and use his technique, but he's got to humble himself in this rematch. He's got to fight like a savage. I use my own personal anecdotes. When I first started boxing, when I first started fighting and training, not on this level, of course, but when I got into the ring with guys who I could not hit because they were just more advanced than me technically, if I couldn't use my technique, I come from a background of bodybuilding, powerlifting. I would just move in and just start. You just got to start hitting the body. Perfect. You got to hit anything that's available to you with murderous intent. When you have that kind of size, power, and strength advantage over an opponent.
Excellent.
Your size can be a weakness, or it can be a strength. If you don't impose your size on the guy to wear him down, when you get tired, you become the biggest target for a guy like Usyk, who has got great timing, great accuracy. But if Joshua uses the first rounds, me personally, I think he has a 0% chance of outboxing Usyk. But I think he has a 60 to 65% chance of KOing Usyk within the first 4 to 5 rounds if he just goes all out. And when he's training, he needs to be training 4 or 5 minute rounds on the heavy bag. Body shots, step in with a double jab, slip to the inside, hit the body multiple times, rough Usyk up. He's got to humble himself. Just admit the facts, dude. You cannot box with Usyk. You got to turn this into a street fight, into a war, like he did with Dylan White, the first fight when he fought Dylan White. That's the type of savage he needs to go back to if he wants to have any chance of winning that fight with Usyk.
Excellent.
Great call, great point, man. All right, call back again next time. Take care.
All right.
What do you guys think about that, though? Just go in there like a fucking savage, like Maidan against Floyd.
The problem with that is Usyk is just too good. If you go in there, all right, a couple of things. The problem with that, because he's so big, he goes into with murders, throws everything with murders or intent. It just gets easier to time that. Like you can just, you know what I mean? So you don't want to throw everything with murders or intent, but when you do and you miss, it's just going to get you that much tired, that much quicker. You know what I mean? I agree. He has to. I went back and last night. I mean, I watched I watched Joshua against Klitschko. And that's another thing too. I don't think we put enough onus on the fact that his biggest win was against a 41-year-old Klitschko, not a 34-year-old Klitschko. You know what I mean? That's a big difference. I don't think, like I've said, I don't think he was as talented as a lot of other people. I think honestly, he needs to break it all down. I think he's doing everything wrong. He beat Ruiz in the second fight, but he didn't look that great. And everybody said that. He didn't look that great against Pooh. I don't think he's looked great in a while. And I think he needs, honestly, to fucking go to Detroit, train under Sugar Hill, change it all up. He needs to work on. And I thought I heard you say earlier, BDA, that he doesn't do a lot of road work.
That's what
it showed last night. Well, it showed. I don't know. He might be doing water aerobics and other things. People try to use in its place, but nothing takes the place of. You don't have to run on cement if you have a knee issue. You can run on tracks. There's all kinds, but you know what I mean, to get those wind bursts. And then Usyk, on the other hand, bro, I was watching all kinds of he does between the whistles on his breaks, he dances, not just sits there and shakes his ass like a fucking pinhead. Choreographed dance moves, those steps he does. You know what I mean? Like to fucking keep his feet and his timing. And if you watch him, like he's all, he knows all these songs and he does them in between all the time. And that's because he's doing that for his rhythm. Plus, it's big cardio. This guy's all about the cardio. His movement, when I watched it again last night, like Bellio said too, Tony Miller, it's like the movement, it was just nothing he could do. You don't see heavyweights do that back and forth, in and out. And I think, honestly, if personally, I don't think Joshua should even take his next fight. He should try to get some confidence back, go against someone else. He got thoroughly beat. I really sat and watched it. I scored at 9-3. I mean, in every capacity, the few shots he landed, I don't know. But anyway, just that's my thing. I think it was a pretty good beating, dude. Not like physical beating, but skill-wise, he put it on him. He exposed all Joshua's weaknesses big time.
I mean, now we're starting to come out into the whole, well, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. But the point, like you said, look, he's one of the best heavyweights right now, but that doesn't really mean much. I mean, he's very good. Don't get me wrong. Look, gold medal, even though some people say he didn't deserve it, blah blah blah. But he has one of the best resumes in the world. There's always room for improvement, though. But
don't you agree? Digressed?
What's that?
Don't you agree? Do you think he's digressed? Like, I think he's not gotten better since Klitschko. Do you agree with that?
No, I think he's gotten better, man. If you look at his earlier fights, he doesn't control the distance all that well. But that's the thing, though. It's because anytime somebody becomes the best of his division in our generation or in present time, people tend to put a lot of fake accolades. Like, well, if he's the best now, then that means he could have competed with anybody at any division, and he's just not that. Like, overall, I think Vladimir Klitschko was better than him. Technique-wise, stamina-wise, of course. I mean, even though Klitschko was fragile himself and got stopped a bunch of times, but it's Joshua. Look, whether he can, like you said, Jimmy, if he goes to the body like we're saying he should against Usyk, he's also going to open himself up for Usyk's counters. I mean, it's not just like Usyk's going to stay there. Oh, let me take but it could, look, at the end of the day as well, it could work maybe. I mean, but if he wants to jump in there in that immediate rematch, then he's definitely going to have to do something different.
Yep, absolutely, man. And like I said, and even Jimmy's saying it, maybe he needs to he needs to change trainers because it's not working out for that guy. Guys, by the way, Revolucion, you can jump in if you want. You don't need an introduction, I think. Do you?
Man, I always want an introduction.
All right.
No, I'm playing.
Revolution.
What's going on, everybody? I'm still living. Thank you. Cool. Right now, I'm just cooling out, and yeah, man, the fight last night was crazy. Still thinking about it. Still blown away. Hoping to get my friends to peek in and watch it. Trying to hype it up to them.
Yeah, well, things are gonna get spicier in 2 weeks. It's spicier. I mean, let's take a phone call, guys. Let's take a phone call. 337. You're on the air. 337.
What up? It's Dead Game Boxing. What's up, people?
What's up, Dead Game?
What's going on, Dead Game?
Dead Game. How you doing, bro?
Oh man, what a fight! A fight! I bet the draw. As we all know, I bet the draw.
Yeah.
Look, man, you guys want to get AJ knocked out. If AJ come and try and swing for the mountains, bro, you think he gonna hit Usyk? He not gonna hit Usyk. The footwork, man. He had AJ turning and following him. Usyk, he dictated the pace. It's nothing at this moment in the next year or two Anthony Joshua can do to beat Usyk. Nothing. You might say, yeah, swing for the fences and he could get a lucky hit. But when you're dealing with a boxer like that, bro, that luck don't come often. So thinking about AJ coming in aggressive, man, y'all want the man to get stopped. The only reason he lasts that long is because he didn't throw them big punches and didn't do that, bro. The dude was gassed, at 9 rounds. But he was just throwing 1-2s and he got gassed just by turning. Usyk was turning him the whole fight from the round 1 to round 12. There's nothing AJ can do. The best thing AJ can do is say that he need to let his eye heal and leave Usyk alone. Just leave him alone. The thing about it is, what we have to look at is this next fight. This next fight, Wilder Fury. Whoever win that fight needs to fight Usyk. AJ needs to chill. I don't think AJ can beat Joe Joyce, to be honest with you, but that's a different topic. So basically, we're going to look at hopefully Wilder Usyk. That's what we want, Wilder Usyk. But the stage is set up for Batman versus the Joker. The stage is set up. Batman versus the Joker. And we know who Batman is. He came out in the Batman costume. We know who the Joker is. It's Usyk. The stage is set up.
But what's going to happen with
I
Wilder?
don't see what more. Do what?
What's going to happen with Deontay Wilder in 2 weeks?
I think Wilder's going to win. But I'm Bomb Squad, so we already know what my prediction is.
But you're saying that Fury. But you're saying, hold on. You're saying Batman's going to fight the Joker. So, but are you saying there's going to be some sort of fix?
That's what it's all set up for, bro.
But what do you mean?
All set up.
Are you saying there's going to be a fix?
Man, I mean, boxing is boxing. I'm just saying what it looks like to me is Batman versus the Joker.
Okay.
Everybody can see it. Everybody can see it, bro. Batman versus the Joker is all set up that way.
If Wilder was to win, if Wilder was to beat Fury, do you think he would fight Usyk, or do you think his people would let him?
This is the thing. The reason why I'm glad Usyk won is because AJ would keep ducking Wilder. It's not about whether Wilder want to fight Usyk. Wilder definitely want to fight Usyk, and anybody who they put in front of him. And I don't think Usyk is going to run from Wilder. I think if we want to see undisputed, I think we want to see Wilder. Actually, right now, Usyk is not going to run from none of these guys, bro. To be honest with you, he's not. To me, he's not built that way. AJ is built different, bro. AJ is a manufactured champion. Manufactured. Thanks to Eddie Hearn, one of the greatest promoters, he took AJ and built him up, which was very smart. But AJ has no chin. He has stamina issues, and he's lost in what style he wants. After he got knocked out by Ruiz, he changed. I mean, actually, from Klitschko, to be honest with you. But after the Ruiz fight, this dude just want to be a boxer. He don't want to get touched. And when he get touched, he get hurt. I mean, I saw him do the stanky leg in there with Usyk, and Usyk is not the biggest puncher. He's 220, probably 235 to come in the fight, but still, man, he got touched up. He got touched up. There's nothing AJ can do.
That game, you're saying AJ shouldn't just go out, come forward because he's going to open up and going to get stopped. What about Wilder? What do you think he has to do in the rematch with Fury?
I think it needs to be more of like the first fight. It needs to be more of the first fight. But Wilder needs to implement more body work, and he needs to, I think just Wilder needs to implement more body work and do the same thing as the first fight. The only thing I don't like with Wilder is when he start getting pieced up, he go on his shield, he put his high guard up until you stop punching on him. That's one thing I don't like. He don't exchange. Well, he did with Spreaker, and you can look at the Spreaker. You can pretty much say it could be similar to the Spreaker fight if Wilder and Usyk fight, but Spreaker is not even on the same level as Usyk, nowhere near. I think it's good for boxing that AJ lost because, like I said, he's manufactured, bro. Everybody can see he's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's British level champion that's been built up. When you let Fat Andy come in there and drop you and stop you, that says a lot.
No,
and it's not bad.
I get what you're saying. But I just find it a little bit weird that you're really shitting on AJ because he lost. But when Wilder got completely destroyed by Fury, you didn't really shit on Wilder. You actually you think he's going to win?
I'm not going to shit on Wilder because I don't like the way that fight happened. It was from the first fight and the second fight were totally different. And this third fight could be totally different again. So we got two totally different fights from fight 1 and fight 2. So I can't really judge it. It went 12 rounds in the first fight, and in the second fight, Wilder couldn't even stand up from the beginning. You know, so we can't just say the second fight. We gotta look at both fights. And the first fight was a great fight. It could have went either way. It was a draw. The second fight, he got blown out the water from round 1. Couldn't stand up. Got dropped I don't know how many times. It didn't even look like the same Wilder.
How could have the first fight gone either way?
Well, it was a draw.
It was a draw, but like one fight itself,
one round for one guy would have took it.
Okay, so you're basically dismissing the second. So
that fight is blatantly like unscorable because Wilder lost like fucking every round just about, except the ones you got the knockdowns.
Bullshit.
And even if like you give him one more, there's like that's the best you can give him.
Nah, that's bullshit. That's in your mind. In your mind, you think that, but that's bullshit. You need to rewatch the fight and look at the fight a little bit better. That was a really close fight.
Wilder didn't hit shit. Wilder was swinging and missing the whole night.
I think he's got you there, man.
All right, hold on. Dead game. Are you dismissing the second fight because it's so unbelievable that Wilder didn't do anything? That means that there was something wrong.
You can't dismiss. You can't really dismiss it, but it was totally different from the first fight. You know, Wilder didn't look the same. He didn't look the same from round 1. You know, it wasn't. Actually, Fury didn't fight the same, so that has a lot to do with it.
Of course,
he didn't fight the same.
Nope.
But it was just so much different in my eyes. This third fight is going to tell it all. I have Wilder winning easy. I mean, I have Wilder not stopping him because if Fury come out and try and bully him, I think Wilder be ready for it. If Fury try and box, it's going to be similar to the Fury didn't really outbox.
We'll find out.
He didn't outbox him. They only threw a few punches each round, so he did a lot of feints. He did more feinting. He pandered to the crowd, but he didn't do much in that fight. You know, he didn't do much. The second fight, it was a mollywop. It was just straight domination. So this fight that's coming up in 2 weeks is gonna tell it all. And I think AJ need to sit back and just let these guys one face, one name. Whoever wins, Fury or Wilder, one face, one name, and that's the fight. And to me, the stage is set for a Joker in Batman, but I think Wilder's going to stop him. I really do think Wilder's going to stop him. So, you know.
Did you give Fury credit? You said it was a domination. So, but when you say Wilder came out with no legs under him, so are you buying into he was poisoned? Fucking thing that
all I'm saying is he just didn't have
no legs, man, from the beginning.
It could have been a temple shot. It could have been a shot behind the head. It could have been anything that just messed him up from the beginning. But as we've seen, we have never seen Wilder fight that way. And we all know that Fury is not a big puncher. You know, he's a big man, and a big man can hit you and hurt you upside the head.
He's got a 68% knockout ratio, which is the average. He's got the average heavyweight knockout ratio.
Well, okay, guys, Jimmy, we're gonna
first round, didn't he?
We're gonna have to move on because we're talking about Wilder. Listen, Dead Game, you're gonna call back. I'm pretty sure when we have the prediction show.
Wait. I got one more thing I gotta ask Dead Game. No, it's unboxing related. Dead Game, you said something that made me really happy. I don't know if you realize it. One of my favorite songs right now, you might know it, that Big Mo, Man. You know that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, yo, because when you saw, you were talking about the goddamn fight, like, man, he fucking had a good fight. Like, I was like, oh, shit, bro. Like, and I looked up the, 337. I was like, oh, my God. That's perfect.
Yeah, we down here in the booth.
That just proved the song true to me.
Guys, y'all have a good one. I'm gonna call back when it's closer to this Wilder Fury, and we'll chat it up.
All right, man. Take care of that game. See ya.
Peace.
All right.
You know what?
Yes.
I don't know.
Just use some regional slang that I got excited over. That to those that didn't understand that, some regional slang that I appreciated from Dead Game.
When Dead Game started, and he's not the only one. There's people every time they start talking about the second Wilder Fury fight, you gotta watch it from a different angle. Apparently, you gotta flip the TV around. You gotta take the color off, the brightness and contrast. You gotta change it, and you gotta open your mind. What does that mean? You need Cueto from Total Recall to open your mind before you see that fight. Look, he got his ass kicked. Fury completely dominated him. He was about to stop him something awful. Now, can Wilder win the third fight? Of course, whenever you hit as hard as he does, and if he makes some proper adjustments. But based on the way he was Fury so convincingly won, you have to give Fury the benefit of the doubt. Now, the other thing is somebody in the chat was saying, I can't see the comment anymore, but somebody was saying, come on, AJ was manufactured. He was never the best. And he says that the whole thing about AJ being the best heavyweight was a fallacy. Well, look, there's two differences. We need to make the distinction. You can believe that Fury beats Joshua, because that's what I thought too as well, even like before this fight, and that maybe Fury has the best skill set to dominate the division. But boxing is not about what ifs. Boxing is about right now. Who is the best right now? And all that you can use to gauge whether someone's the best right now is a resume. And Fury's resume, a win over Klitschko and a win over Wilder about 3-4 years later, that's what he's got. And Wilder's a glorified power puncher. So it's not even that great a win either. So when people say, nah, AJ's resume pales in comparison to Fury's, I don't see it. Do I think Fury beats Joshua if they fought head-to-head? Absolutely. But we can only go by resume here and by records. If you think a guy is the best but he hasn't fought anybody, then you can't call him the best. You can think that eventually he's going to take over the division, but so far right now you cannot legally call him the best. And if you want to say that he's legally the best, I might have to call Rafel Shapiro here and get involved.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's take another phone call. 407. You're on the air. 407.
Hello?
Yep, you're on the air.
All right. Hey, guys. I think last night, Usyk pretty much exposed the whole division. And these guys have been getting away just being absolute physical freaks. And they just have not worked on real boxing skills. Usyk came in there, head movement, footwork, feints, timing, traps, shot selection. Joshua was just trying to throw a 1-2 all night, tried to adjust with an uppercut to the body and gave it up even though it was working, and then just faded. Usyk didn't stop the whole time. It just blew me away.
And you can't forget the old Lennox Lewis punch, the fucking holding and hitting.
He tried to do it like 3 times, I think.
He tried to do that, and it didn't work because
once he got tired, he tried it multiple times, exactly.
So I hope we can get more guys.
Referee warned him once.
For like the past like 5 to 6 years, everyone's been saying, "Oh, they can't compete in this division. You've got to be 6'6" and 260 pounds to compete." Well, Usyk just came in here and blew him away, being 20 pounds lighter.
Yep, that's what we kept saying. And they called us haters. They said we didn't know shit about boxing. How can a cruiserweight hurt the almighty fucking AJ?
Like, imagine if Marius Briedis came up earlier.
But he also listen. That's why when a lot of people say, "Oh, Muhammad Ali would get destroyed," a prime Muhammad Ali, I'm like, he's basically Usyk's these names. Usyk's size. So why would and look what he did. It's all about movement and boxing ability. You know what I mean? And it was exposed.
Joshua was like lead foot, robotic, slow. The only thing fast about Joshua is when he decides to throw like a 3-punch combination. Mm-hmm. But you have to be.
Do you know why that is, brother? Because when the reason why his combinations, once he's in the flow of throwing them, he stops looking robotic because he doesn't have the ability to think. And a kid without a lot of experience, you can see him in his wheels going. He's thinking instead of just physically reacting. And I'm telling you, that's a problem, I think, with him. He thinks in there too much, and he's trying to change his style.
So I hope in like the next 5 years, the whole heavyweight division changes, and we can get rid of these guys like Joshua and Wilder and Fury, these guys that are just held so high just because they're honestly physical freaks. They're freaks. I mean, Fury is 6'9" and 300 pounds. It's comical.
You're right. Maybe we can see more cruiserweights make that jump. I know Gassiev supposed to do that. Obviously, different style, but also he's more athletic, faster.
But like I said, what if Briedis came up earlier?
Makes you better heavyweight fights.
Briedis would wipe out at least the bottom half of the top 10 heavyweights without breaking a sweat.
Maybe. His style is more aggressive, though. I mean, pit him against Chisora. That would be an interesting fight. But there's a size difference. Listen, I don't know. But good call, man. Good call. Call back again next time, all right? Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Let's take another phone call. 661. You're on the air. 661.
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Can you speak a little louder, please?
I don't know.
I think it's better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what that last caller was talking about. I think Fury's really good. I mean, I'm pretty sure he comes from like a line of boxers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've learned like from this and the Wilder fight that if you're the bigger man, you got to act like the bigger man in the ring. You can't be like trying to box with a smaller guy, trying to stay outside with him or what. I don't know why these guys aren't acting like they're 20, 40 pounds heavier than the smaller dude. The whole fight, I was just wondering, it's like, why don't you just grab him? Just grab him, AJ. When he gets close, grab him. When he's far away, keep your distance. It's just these dudes are getting worse and worse with these. I really don't understand it. And then Tyson Fury, like he understood. During the second Wilder fight, I'm the bigger guy. I'm gonna put him up against the. I'm gonna grab him, hold him down when I miss something, and then tire him out. That's what you do. Yeah. If you look at the Steve Cunningham fight, he just puts him up against the rope, holds him there, and knocks him out.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, but that's they're not Usyk.
Yeah, why not, Jimmy? Why not?
Because Usyk, you would reach out and he would piece you up. If you just decided to reach out and grab him because you don't like the distance, that would be like fucking, you know what I mean? That would be like a dinner bell for him. You'd be catching that fade and waking up in a few minutes. You can't just do. I mean, you got to keep your hands up and get ready. That's not a way to win a fight. Reaching out and grabbing and throwing people to the ropes. It's not Rocky. You know what I mean? He grabs him with one arm, throws him back to the ropes. No, you got to work your way in. And if you don't have the ability to do so, and listen, another thing, Jones, said a very important thing. What Joshua wasn't doing, he wasn't using his feet to get away. He was just trying to use his head. He was just constantly, immobile from the waist down and trying to bend his waist back. You're not going to get away with that with someone like Usyk. He knows that. He's going to come in knowing you're going to do that, and he caught him every time. Instead of doing the parry, jump back with his feet. Like, you know what I mean? It's like in sync. He did it a few times, but that takes a lot of energy, and just Joshua isn't built that way.
Yeah, and I also noticed, too, Usyk, the few times that Joshua was able to get a clinch, Usyk was having some good success in there too. Like normally you see like guys in the clinch, like they're tapping on the side of the ribs with the punch. Usyk was throwing one, like he'd back his frame up a little bit, kind of create some space, and he'd throw a fucking just like a quick like a hook, like not a whole lot of space, but you hit him in the solar plexus, Instead
of going to the ribs, sticks his ass back. You stick your ass out, and then you throw a body shot. Yep,
exactly. Yes. Stick it out and swipe to the ribs or solar plexus. Boom. And,
exactly.
Joshua trying to come back with the fucking corny rib taps that don't do shit. BDA loves him though.
All right, caller, we gotta move on. Thanks for calling. All right, call back in next time.
Thanks.
Yeah, we gotta. Sorry, bro, about that, guys. We got more phone calls, and I gotta read some super chats. Thank you for your contribution. He says AJ is manufactured, but Wilder isn't. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, you're right. Well, he didn't write haha. He wrote lol, but I just imagine what the laugh would sound like. Kenshiro, thank you for your contribution. He says Usyk is now the second pound for pound after Canelo. All right. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that later on. I mean, I know some people hate the pound for pound discussion, but some people want to hear that talk, so we'll give you what you want. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, let's take another phone call. Let's take a wild card phone call.
You said you had some super chats you had to read.
Oh, yeah, I just read them. 111 111. Whatever. Go ahead.
What's up? BD, but I don't think people understand, bro. AJ put on a great performance, but it's just that Usyk is better than him. Okay, you know, AJ did what he what he could do, but Usyk's just a better fighter.
Yeah, AJ did what he had, what he could do. So, are you saying that AJ cannot improve?
I'm not saying that AJ cannot prove, but I'm just saying that he did what he could do at that moment. Because listen, his trainers taught him a game plan, and he was actually doing what his trainer's game plan was. I heard Rob McCann said, when you throw the jab, follow up with the straight right or something, and he was doing that, but he kept missing. Usyk is just that good. So that's what I mean by that. And also I want to say, I want to say this I think Fury will lose to Usyk, bro. I think, Usyk is just, I think Usyk will just get inside and just rip, what's the name? Fury's body, and also I don't think Fury will be able to do all that dirty tactics because, he's so tall and Usyk is smaller that he can't really, it will tire Fury out to do all those dirty tactics on Usyk. And Usyk moves a lot. I don't think he can really do those dirty tactics. And I think Usyk, his movement, he has more feet movement than Usyk.
All right, he hung up. All right. Let's get back to Discord over here. So, yeah, Jimmy, what do you think about? What do you think about what Tank Davis said about Usyk? And
I'm not impressed.
Yeah, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, Tank Davis said that he wasn't impressed with Usyk's performance. Jimmy, your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was jealousy at the highest fucking level. You know what I mean? It's always something. Listen, stupid people tell you what they feel. And what he's telling you is because he's always on Twitter or on Instagram, so you get to picture it. He sees the vitriol he receives. He sees the jokes every time his name gets mentioned by the propagandist Ellaby. He just gets fucking trounced with all kinds of shit. Fight somebody. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden now he sees not just regular boxing fans on Twitter, but the media. Everybody talking, putting this kid nothing but praise, right? Everybody across the board was praising him. I mean, maybe not some people, not the people agreed with his tweet. That's another story. But, yeah, so he sees that dude, and that was like fucking acid in his mouth. Because he's a fighter. At the end of the day, this is what he does. I know that LB wants to make him an attraction, the fourth largest ticket seller, so he could fucking, keep paying, car payments. That's all he cares about. But deep down inside, I believe that kid wants to fight, wants to test himself. I don't think he's a punk. I don't think he's a pussy. I think he's being handled so fucked up that it's getting to him, dude. And he sees it. He sees the accolades, the praise, and he's getting none. That's my opinion, brother.
How do you know? How do you know? Because he isn't even calling these other guys. He's not calling out.
Dude. He can't. They can't say nothing, dude, without firsthand. Dude, all right. Go back and watch his last fight, bro, when they're talking to him, right? And they said, right before Floyd said, we're going to keep everything in-house, why should we get anybody else? Great. As the reporter is asking him who your next opponent is, dude, it's so telling. This Tank just keeps looking over to Floyd. Every time, it just looks right to Floyd. and Floyd like actually steps in and answers. They didn't even trust that kid to give an answer. Like they didn't want him to say anybody's name. Listen, the PBC's got those guys under wraps hard, and I think he's embarrassed, dude. How can he not be, dude? Right? How can he not be?
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
I agree, man. Because look, I mean, he's got a dog collar on his neck over there. They got him on a leash. When they asked him about, well, who do you want to fight next, and then they go, well, we don't want to give any other promotion shine, so he's not going to be fighting outside the PBC. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, that is incredible. It's in a bad way. You don't want to hear that from a promoter. We don't want to give any other promotional outfit shine, so we're going to keep things in house. So who are you going to match him with? I mean, you've got what's the guy's name? The guy who killed Dadashev. I forget his name, but the Puerto Rican dude. That would be a pretty good fight, but it's not a mega fight. Maybe it could be good numbers.
Outside of Gary Jr., bro. Every belt, every rail belt, not the Reggie belts he's collecting, but every rail belt is outside the promotion. So you're basically saying it's going to be pay-per-views for fighting in-house scrubs. And that's even funny that we got that on DAZN last night too. Keep that in mind. That wasn't a pay-per-view.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing about it is, when he's saying I wasn't impressed, you weren't impressed by a cruiserweight who most people were saying was going to get knocked out. He was fighting a top heavyweight, had a bigger, longer reach, taller, weight advantage, had beaten almost everybody in the division. You're not impressed by this guy coming in there and outboxing him and actually putting him on the ropes in the last round, almost taking him out. I mean, like Jimmy said, it speaks volumes about what type of person he is. Maybe it's also, like he said, the frustration that he's not getting the big fights he wants. At the end of the day, if you're a fighter and you're at the top level like he is, you can sort of get some of the fights that you want. Stop saying, oh, I'm not impressed by this guy, that, and do what you do best and take people out. Because Gervonta Davis is, and we always talk about how he's a basket case, but man, he's got punching power, he's got explosiveness, he's got a lot of speed, and he's very tough too. He could make a lot of things happen, and he doesn't have to be going around criticizing other guys, showing his insecurity. He can fix that right away by fighting, but he's not fighting. And that's the big old problem right there.
All right, guys, don't forget, hit the like button, please. And let's take another phone call. 301, you're on the air, 301.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
I just, on the subject of, Usyk's next steps, I don't want to be a downer, but I just got the feeling that, this victory for him, while, big, I don't think it will necessarily propel his career. You know what I mean? He could get TKO'd by the real final boss of boxing, which is boxing politics. And then nobody's gonna fight him. They're just gonna say AJ is a hype job. This win is expected. He already lost, etc. He's fought nobody. Literally, people were saying he's fought nobody in the lead up to the Joshua fight, which I thought hilarious. How do you even have time to comment on this stuff? If you're that unaware of boxing.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
I just wanted to float that out there.
So you're saying
that's really what people think.
Well, hold on, Media, go ahead.
I don't think Usyk. I think Usyk's content now, because this is the fight he wanted.
Content
for a long time. Maybe now that he beat Joshua, he's thinking, you know what, Fury, bring it on. But for the most part, look, he cleared out the cruiserweight division in under 20 fights. Then he steps up in the heavyweight division, takes 2 fights. Everyone's criticizing about how bad he looked, blah, blah, blah. And he takes out one of the top guys. I think he's more or less content. I mean,
just a real thing on, I don't mean to step on you there, but it attains to that. I'm trying to find it as we're talking, where he just said that he's not interested in the money or the fame. He just wants the glory and the legacy. And he intends on fighting. I guess he put that comment.
I was rewatching the fight earlier, and I didn't watch it all, but the ending when they give him the decision and they give him the belts, I was crying. I mean, he's that emotional. He's a top competitor.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking months, dude. January, a lot of work, and it comes all out, right? It's just all the explosion of it all right there.
Yeah, leaving his family, his kids. He had his son Mikhail on his shorts. Yeah.
He hasn't seen him in a while, right?
A likable guy, I would say. Yeah,
he's got a master's degree.
The Hall of Fame probably already did that.
Hall of Famer?
Very intelligent individual.
Hall of Famer?
For sure.
First ballot.
Already, even with what he did at cruiserweight, he's a
right.
Hall of Famer. Now he's like, I think now, honestly, all time, could rival Holyfield, and probably behind him, best cruiserweight.
All right, caller.
Well,
we gotta move on. We gotta move on. But caller, hold on. Go ahead, caller. One more last comment, if you want.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, whoever mentioned, Davis, fighting Subriel Matias, who beat, Tadasha. It just made me realize, 140 is, a really sub-pound weight class. Assuming Davis is in it, but even without him, there's so many guys there. Malik Hawkins, Petros Hanyanyan, There's so many good fighters out there, skilled, good inside fighters. And, of course, Taylor Ramirez. Prograis, if he still stays there. It'd be dope if we could see some kind of super series there. That'd be really exciting because they have.
Yeah,
some
it's a good division, man. It's a good division.
It
and Teofimo Lopez is talking about moving up, so yeah, we'll see what happens with 140 division. But hey, good call, man. Call back again next time, all right?
Yeah.
Take care.
Sure. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Let's just go to some super chats here. Chris K, thank you for your contribution. He says, thanks for talking about this fight for so many weeks/months. Really hyped the fight for me. Made me watch it more. Sorry, made watching it more satisfying. Canelo docking Usyk. All right. Well, thanks for the super chat. Larry Merchant. Larry Merchant in the chat. The legend, Larry Merchant. Thank you for the super chat. Spencer. He says Spencer Ferron said AJ had an injured right arm going into the fight. Are you joking? I think he's joking, man. I didn't hear that, but we'll see, man. But thanks for the contribution. I did hear
Spencer Fearon. Who's Spencer Fearon?
I don't know.
I have to Google that name.
Yeah, but
if it's somebody from my past, I might be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, there's AJ said that he couldn't see after round 9 or something like that, and well, whatever. Listen, we know why he lost. We know why he lost.
Just his response, brother, at the end of the fight. I mean, it was fucking Usyk dropping to his knees and walking around, and this. I mean, AJ was in the corner making fucking painful faces and shit. And everybody doctors, everybody's working on him. It's just not a good look. Roy Jones was right about that too, for the judges,
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's like Roy Jones. I mean, Roy Jones has that long amateur and professional pedigree where they teach you, look, as if it's a close fight, put your hands up and start screaming like you won the fight. You don't let the other guys think for one. It's a jungle in there. As soon, even after the bell rings, you until the decision is read, it's a jungle, and you gotta show fearlessness and strength up until the decision. Otherwise, it might look like you're weak or something. But look, that's how hard Usyk made him work. And I mean, Usyk at this point, if he wants to get that fight in there, that rematch, I think it's still pretty compelling. But yeah, I'm curious though. Joshua, after the fight, and Butcher put this in the Discord, and other people did as well. Apparently, Joshua thinks he won the fight. And now my question is, do you guys think that's a good? Because I think I need to preface this by saying my point of view on this is, we've all been watching boxing for a long time. We're used to fighters saying, "Oh, I won that fight." Even sometimes when they got dominated, they'll say, "No, I won that fight."
But did he really say that? Are you joking? Did he really say that?
What?
Butcher, you saw the tweet, right? Somebody posted it on the Discord. It's
wow.
Again, I don't know though. Now you're making me think. L Dog posted it. I think AJ posted this on Instagram. He says, "This is more to me than just a sport or a career. Boxing is my entire life." It's pretty long, so I'm gonna skip ahead. But he says, "Do I feel it was an unfair decision? Yes, he feels it was an unfair decision."
But I saw what Eldog posted. Wait, hold on.
Tank feels it was an unfair decision? Who?
Joshua feels he was.
Joshua feels like he got an unfair decision.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
But I mean, that's my question to you, fellas, because we've seen a lot of boxers before. Like, I remember Marquez when he lost to Bradley. He clearly lost to Bradley. He ran out of the ring and he was like, "Man, I won the fight." Fighters do that, but at the same time, is it possible that these fighters, they're very complicated people to a certain extent. They're got a paradox inside their mind. They know they didn't win, but they have to say that they thought so, just to like sort of save face and not admit to themselves that it's over. Because imagine you lose a fight and you go, "Oh, I lost." What?
I was gonna say AJ's babyface. You know, he's like nice guy, so he can't be complaining. He's like, "Nah, I won." You got to like be a badass kind of guy, like to do that. You know, so even though you lose, like if you're like a Ricardo Mayorga, you're gonna I lied. You could lose every fucking round. I won that. It fits your fucking personality. You know, if AJ does it, it looks so bad. Looks so bad.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I heard people talking about as well, like. Wasn't leading up to this, he was talking about, we got to have good decisions in boxing. We got to tighten up the thing with the judges scoring and everything. So, you know, people aren't discouraged to watch. Like, he was talking a lot of shit. Thunderdome said, at least.
In the chat, somebody said, in the chat, Nick Rich is saying he did not say that. I need more.
Could somebody please check Instagram and see if he said that?
Yeah, can we verify
this
shit?
I'll go check because I hope he didn't, because that would be a huge sign of not confident. That's what people do when they're not confident. You know what I mean?
For real. I mean, look, Gervonta Davis is, to me, the definition of unimpressive. You know, what has he fucking done? I mean, let's see. Pedraza all those fucking years ago.
But why would he say that?
Not a lot. One beating up guys in one round, taking big fucking lapses of inactivity, and like Yuriorkis Gamboa, old ass Yuriorkis Gamboa. Leo Santa Cruz after he had 3 wars with Mares.
Yeah, the list is long. Listen, we can spend all day fucking saying
yes. Well, but 1,700 days or 4 years, 4.69 calendar years since he's fought the last legitimate opponent.
Jimmy,
that's crazy.
Jimmy, why would Tank Davis tweet that?
What's that? Honestly, I think he just said it because he wants the knockout. Because remember, listen, what is he being sold on right now? What his whole state of being, according to Floyd, according to fucking LB, is he's the attraction, the knockout artist. It doesn't matter who's in there. People are paying to come to see him knock people out. Knockout. So that's what it's all about. So his whole persona is the knockout kid, right? So when he sees a technician do something, first off, his drunken, lazy ass would never be able to pull off 3 rounds of that. He'd be puking his fucking innards out. So he saw that that was everything he's not, a dedicated craftsman. He's a fucking punk. I've lost all respect for that kid.
Amen. That's fucking on point, bro.
Hey guys,
he
even
absolutely could never do what he does.
Even Clarissa Shields gave Usyk credit.
Oh, well, that says it all right there, man. If the Prince of Ash said that, the Princess of Ash, but listen, the Queen of Ash, rather. Shout out to Endgame because he just checked Instagram and Twitter and he said that Joshua left no message.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It looked suspect.
It sounded like when I saw it, because there was no source or anything, and I said, yeah, it sounds a little suspect, but it did sound like something he'd say because he was talking about positivity and blah, blah, blah. But apparently, Endgame is saying he checked Twitter and Instagram. He didn't leave any message of that sort. So, but he did look, apparently when they announced the decision, I think he did look a little bit like, what? Like he was surprised that he didn't get the decision. Because like I said last night, it was a type of performers where if they really wanted to, they could have given him the draw. And who's going to do something about it? I mean, think about it. The fucking Oscar Valdez, he tested positive for something. They still let the fight go on. And I still haven't watched that fight, by the way. Giving myself a little credit over here. But that's, even if it doesn't mean anything, you still have to try to boycott some of these fights. And it's the same thing if Usyk would have been robbed, we would have hollered up a storm, but at the end of the day, it would have still stuck officially.
Hey guys,
but I'm glad that they stuck to the right decision.
Nick, where is he posted a comment.
Nick. Was his
fuck
My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Never saw that movie, man.
Nick.
Shit.
The joke.
Anyways, he was
named Nick. Every one of them.
what is his fucking comment? He was saying something about
Nick Rich.
No, but the 12th round, the Nick Copeland, the bell was wrong 6 to 7 seconds before the end of the round, because Joshua was going to get knocked out of the ropes. Okay.
I disagree with that.
I think Mr. BDA
he would have finished him right
Mr.
there.
BDA debunked the whole thing, right, Mr. BDA?
Yes, he rewatched the last round earlier today. I put a stopwatch next to me, and I timed that. What happened was they're getting off their stools, and you hear the announcer saying, "In the 12th and final round, ping," and they ring the bell. But after a couple of seconds after they rung the bell, the referee is still getting both guys to touch gloves, and they're sort of like falling awkwardly, so he has to retouch the gloves a second time. So it was just bizarre. It was the referee's fault. The bell had already rung, but the zone's clock started late because of the shenanigans.
The timekeeper wasn't crooked. He was going off his clock.
Yeah, it was the zone. They fucked it up. Apparently,
it was the graphic on the screen.
But it all stemmed from the referee because he was the one that was making them touch gloves and like fucking grace each other's cocks or something.
All right, guys, like as if it had been a fucking brutal back and forth war where both guys are being super competitive. All right, guys, bring it in. Let's put on a good show. Fucking put on a final good round. No, it was a fucking. He didn't have to do that. AJ was getting his ass beat. All right, guys. Let's finish strong. AJ's over there.
I hate these referees that get overly involved. I mean, I know he did it pretty clean for the rest of the fight, but that rewatch at the beginning of the 12th round, he wasted about 5 seconds getting them to touch gloves. It was bizarre.
Oh, did he make them touch gloves?
Yes.
I hate that shit, dude. I thought in the beginning of the round when he went over, I thought he was saying, "Don't waste time touching gloves, or don't bother touching gloves." I hate that shit when they make fighters touch gloves.
Remember Joe Cortez?
Remember
Joe, Jimmy? Remember Joe Cortez?
Each other a quick hug and a kiss. Wish each other the best of luck.
Jimmy, remember Joe Cortez? Sometimes when boxers didn't want to touch gloves, hey, come back here, get here, touch gloves, like little kids. Like if they don't want to touch gloves, they don't have to. It's not a rule. The fuck are you doing, fucking Joe Cortez?
Hey, dude, he's firm. He's firm but fair, man. He's firm but
this
fair.
guy was one of the worst referees of all time. He was a diva. He was stopping the fight sometimes. He wanted the attention. He would stop the fight and go, come here. Like, oh, get out of the best referee is the one you don't fucking see. I saw Joe Cortez all the time in there.
There was one a while ago. I forget what fucking fight it was. But it was I don't know. I think it was like middleweight, maybe super middleweight. But regardless, the guy who was losing the fight, he's holding and holding and holding. It's an undercard fight. Holding. Referee's like, hey, you're holding. Stop holding. Like the whole fight. By the end of it, he's like literally in that tone. You're holding.
My two favorite judges were Miles Lane and Lane Miles and the Italian kid.
You're butchering the name. I'm sorry.
Butchering his name.
Is it Miles? Is it Lane Miles? I can't remember. Mills Lane. He's a judge, and then that Italian dude.
Yeah.
He's been dead for how long has he been dead? Like 20 years, man. Wow, fuck. Been dead a long time, Lane.
Yeah, he was but okay, two things to that. I don't know why Revolucion made that referee sound Jewish for some reason. Number two,
that's exactly how he sounded.
Number two, Uncle Bert apostrophe said, "I'm fair and a fuckhead." Yeah, because that brings me to the whole Joe Cortez Mills Lane thing, because I dislike those referees that went in there and had to add their own tagline.
Yeah.
After the instructions, like, I'm fair but I'm firm. What I say you must obey. What was the other one? There was I'm fair but I'm firm. What I say you must obey. Let's get it on.
I gotta go one that you. There's one that you liked, BDA, bro. Let's throw some thunder.
Let's throw some thunder.
Yeah, let's throw hands and throw some thunder.
A lot of those guys want a tagline to be remembered, so the fucking commission remembers them if they become, you know what I mean? That's what just trying to be separated from the crowd.
Jimmy, you know how the commission remembers his referees? If they favor the A side.
But by favoring the one the house wants to win. Exactly. Vegas, it's whoever's the fucking making the casino the most money.
Yeah.
Like Canelo makes them a lot of money. He brings whales in from all over the fucking world. A lot of Japanese
referee
whales.
be like, all right, guys, bring it in. We went over the rules in the locker room. Belt is here. Touch gloves. And Canelo, kick his fucking ass.
Yeah, exactly. He whispers that in his ear. Kick his ass.
Yeah.
Got your back, boy.
Gives him a little pat on the ass.
All right. What else can we talk about here? I mean, fuck Usyk, Joshua.
I saw one where somebody overdubbed Kenny Bayless giving Floyd Mayweather instructions with somebody, and it was like, all right, I want you to know you can't hit Floyd here, you can't hit him here.
Yeah.
You try to touch him anywhere, I will fucking disqualify you. Floyd, let it over, let him fly, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, he was terrible. But yeah, no, honestly, dude, all kidding aside, I think Usyk. I don't see what Joshua was going to do different if staying with the same people. I think he needs a big change. He might need a change of fucking scenery too, dude. You know, I don't know how entrenched he is in the London lifestyle. I don't know if he's a partier.
I think he might be at a crossroads now where it's like he's gonna his career lost a lot of luster, man. Because he not only did he get knocked out by Ruiz, even though he avenged the fucking victory, maybe not that impressive in doing it, but it showed him, hey, this guy can get knocked out, and now he's been totally outclassed. It's like you can beat him on both fronts. It's not just you gotta just get through and land something. So it's gonna kind of take luster off his career, and he might not think it's as glamorous, and now he's just got to be a fucking fighter for the love of it.
You know, Hearn's going to be in his ear talking him into fighting, especially after they signed him with a lifetime contract. You know they threw some money at his ass.
He's thinking about quitting the job. He's thinking about doing something else.
He's made a lot of fucking money, and if he played his cards right, I'm sure he has a ton left. He doesn't really need it. And if the prospects in his mind are, if I'm going to just start losing, why am I going to bother? I'd rather walk away on top with some money. Yeah. Because the thing is, every time you lose, you take a lot of money off your bottom line. Like going into the next fight, depends on, anybody with a good attorney's not going to let the purse bid. Let the next fight, if you win, you get paid less. Like in all intents and purposes, Usyk should be earning more money being the champion. How much more depends, and every time he loses, he makes less.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go in. You want to go into your next fight as the winner, the A side. Well, he's still the A side, but not coming from a loss. Hey guys, this is what Joshua needs.
Heart, you understand? Okay. It ain't all muscle, it's all heart. Heart and fire. Okay.
he needs heart and fire. No, but isn't that what it looks like AJ was missing a little bit? Obviously, the skill difference is there, but a little bit more.
Right, can I be honest with you, dude?
Yes.
Go back and fucking watch the fight in the third round. Usyk catches him with a shot that wobbled him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, about halfway through the third round, he catches him with a fucking shot on the button, and it wobbled him.
Yeah.
It gave him a little goofy leg for a second, and it opened his eyes. It almost seemed to fucking inflate him right there. Like, I think it scared him. Like, he probably had that, because it happens to a lot of guys. They're out for a split second, like, bang, they see the white, like, holy shit. Just a little harder, man. I would have been fucking Mr. Canvas back off that one. So, I think, honestly, that shelled him up a little.
Yeah, because, Jimmy, you go in there, AJ, he goes in there thinking, oh, I'm the bigger guy, no doubt about it. I have the power. He might have the speed advantage, but I have the power advantage. He can't hurt me.
Bingo.
And then he gets hurt. It's like, oh, my God.
Changed his whole mindset.
Yeah. Fuck.
It definitely established that Usyk had enough to keep AJ honest from just walking him down.
Yep.
And
Which
Usyk,
is what
Usyk doesn't know either, man. Guys, Usyk doesn't know either going into that fight until that third round, that punch lands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Usyk doesn't know.
Yeah.
Is this guy really gonna, do I got enough? He obviously intended to put on weight and put on strength, but did I do enough to really,
But AJ wasn't a pussy though.
His boy Egis Klemus. I'm gonna fucking I guess he winked at somebody when they asked, was he playing possum against Chisora and the other one? And I guess he winked, meaning like he didn't like show everything he had. Obviously, I kind of fucking, after looking at those fights, man, yeah, no, he showed a wrinkle. He showed more pep and all that. Like, coming out as fast as he did. Remember when we talked about coming into this? I said, what does he have to do? Actually, we were talking about BDA. We were saying how he needs to fucking come out fast and jump on him right away and just stay on him. Never get him a chance to fucking get into a rhythm and get set. And he did that. He never let him get comfortable from the bell, from right off the bell, opening bell.
Did you see the same fighter you saw? I mean, physically, speed-wise, power-wise, hand speed, foot speed, tactic, anything, chin, anything. Did you see the same fight from Chisora to AJ?
I think he was a little bit better in everything.
Yeah, noticeably.
Exactly. That wasn't an accident. I'm telling you right now, they knew they could handle Chisora probably at 80%. That's how talented this kid is.
Because Jimmy, when Usyk hurt Chisora, I was thinking, man, just get him out of there. I mean, you could try again, but he was just satisfied with continuing the to outbox.
He needed the rounds probably, right? He probably to him the rounds are more important against the bigger guy. Plus, on top of that, he starches Chisora. Then that puts everybody else on alert, like, oh shit, this kid's for real. I mean, it was an ideal thing, and he did the same thing. Like, I mean, everything this kid did, I rewatched fine. Like, man, he came on strong, never gave him a chance to set up, never gave him a chance to fucking get comfortable, figure out his rhythm. And on top of that, the first time he really made contact with the chin, he loaded up with it. The first power shot was a boom, and it shocked the shit out of Joshua. I'm telling you guys, we're back in the third round. You'll see it.
I saw it. Roy Jones was talking about it before it happened. I don't know if you heard Roy Jones saying, "I don't."
Oh no, I didn't. I had it turned down.
Yeah, no. Roy Jones knows his shit. Roy Jones is about the only one that really is saying things that are actually happening in the ring. I don't put it on the other broadcasters, but he's saying it flat out. The first couple of rounds, I don't like the way he's taking this left hand and he's just eating it. Like he's just like you don't got to worry about it. You know.
Yeah, I heard him say that in the later rounds. I listened.
Well, what he was saying was, I told you. That's what I was saying. What he was saying in the later rounds was exactly as I told you up front. You can't just stand there just because the guy happens to be a little smaller.
Yep, he needed to jump back with his feet. He needed to match his feet movement. He didn't, because that takes too much energy.
Not match it, but just don't think you're going to be able to walk chin first into a left hand.
Well, what he meant by that, like when he would throw the punch, when Usyk would jump in, Usyk would never throw power shots in the fucking, he would pop in and throw them. When he popped in, that's when Joshua should have popped backwards, and he didn't. He tried to bend backwards or duck backwards. And you just can't do that with someone at that level who's got that kind of fucking craft. It's going to make you pay.
All right, guys, how about we take a phone call? 916, you're on the air, 916.
Hey, how are you guys?
What's up? What's on your mind?
Ukrainian, and I was listening to an interview in Ukrainian, and they were saying that basically his trainer was telling him to pace himself, to not go for the knockout, because he wanted to go for the knockout in the 6th, 7th round. And his trainer told him not to do it at all. Like he told him to leave it for the other half of the fight.
Okay, you're talking about the Joshua fight. Yeah.
Slow down. Just sit back.
He was telling him to slow down because they have a rematch anyways, and they knew it before even the fight. They knew that this was going to be an easy fight for him. It wasn't going to be that easy, but they knew that he could have finished him in the 12th round easily. He could have easily finished him in the 12th round, but they have another fight, What's the point of finishing him, in the 12th round? And plus, you got to look at the clock. The clock ended 7-8 seconds early.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently there was...
And nobody's not doing no investigation on the clock. Nobody's not saying anything about the clock or nothing. That's what's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't someone address that?
Yeah, caller, we checked it out. Well, I checked it. Yeah, we checked it out, and what happened was they rung the bell, but the referee was getting the fighters to touch gloves, and he talked to them for about 2-3 seconds. So essentially, that the zone clock, they started late. That's why when we were watching it on TV, it looked as if they stopped the fight early. But if you watch
okay. All right, so it's not timed up.
Probably a
exactly.
a TV delay, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was the zone. They fucked it up, I think. Me too. The first
they
time I
weren't
saw
going
it,
off the actual timekeeper's clock. They weren't piping that into the TV. They were using their own.
Well, now you guys realize why Usyk was being so calm and going through the pace with Chisoro, because if he just went out and just beat the shit out of Chisoro in 6 rounds, he would never get this fight with Anthony. Never.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they would have probably dropped the belt. Who knows? You're right.
They would have dropped the belt. They would have been like, screw this guy. He's way too crafty. He's way too quick. What's the risk? What's the point, you know?
Good point. Good point. Anything else, caller?
That'll be it. You guys have a really good show. Thank you, man.
Thanks for calling. See ya.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right.
Butcher, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, the caller makes a good point about pacing yourself, because there did seem to be a point there in that fight where Usyk was. Remember from the first 3 rounds, I rewatched the first 3 rounds, and he was lining Joshua up for the left hand, and so you think, hey, maybe if Usyk felt like, hey, I'm taking this guy clean, let me go for it. Especially when Joshua started mounting his own counterattack, maybe Usyk felt like, hey, man, I gotta go get mine back, because that's his mentality. So it seems to have been good advice from his trainers to tell him, look, you still got another 6-7 rounds to go. That means also that they had confidence in his conditioning. They must have seen this guy in camp, and of course, if you've seen throughout his career, he's shown incredible stamina. So that's when knowing your fighter and his mentality comes into place. Because sometimes you got to rein these guys back and say, "Look, don't blow your load yet, man. You still got 6 rounds to go."
But it's normal.
I guess Lomachenko's father said he's the hardest one of the hardest working people he ever trained, and that's like 30 years in the business of strength and conditioning. Like he's crazy, like he's famous. Like Triple G was that way too up at Big Bear. Like nobody else could even hang with the kid in his workout routine.
Right. Yeah, I guess Usyk is that. Yeah, I guess Usyk is that way too, because I mean, the way he fought, it might have seemed like he was fighting his fight, and he was. But man, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. That type of style, the fight he was fighting, it does take its energy toll.
Oh,
you have to be in good condition to do that.
I think I had a coronary watching the fucking thing. I'm like, dude, I was going, my God, dude. I'd be like halfway to the second round. That's hard. 220 pounds. My God, the hours of fucking work he put in to be able to do that. Crazy.
And against the big guy, too.
Yep. Yeah, I think he knew it, though. Yeah. What's up, here?
Well, I sort of agree too with MMA Champ. I think he called in earlier, was listening in, and he said that Joshua fought a pretty good fight himself. He fought. Look, it's not going to be all these people that are now saying Wilder beats him based on this fight. I've heard some people say, I always knew Wilder beats him. They're making the same mistake that the people that picked Joshua to beat Usyk did when they kept referencing the Chisora fight. They're completely different fights. So just because Usyk outboxed Joshua here, really has nothing to do with whether Wilder can knock him out or not.
They're making the same mistake they also made.
Lazy asinine comparison.
They're making the same mistake they made saying Wilder was going to just disappear from the planet after he got his ass kicked by Fury. So that's all these guys know how to do. It's their fucking job. I mean, what are they going to do? Like go to med school? Like go be insurance salesman somewhere? He's going to fight again. I mean, it's just like. You're taking more of it, stock of it, than even these fighters are, you know.
Right.
If AJ lost, question is, how does he come back from a loss? We already know he comes back from a loss.
Well,
we already know how Lomachenko comes back from a loss.
Yeah.
We already know how Wilder handles a
though.
loss. It's delusional, you know.
This is the thing, though. In the chat, the people who picked AJ, that's fine, you know. Like you could have picked. We said it was going to be a close fight. But now the rematch is probably going to take place. And the same people who picked Joshua now are saying that the outcome of the fight was due to AJ not fighting the right style. And now he's going to switch it up. And they still have AJ. And like they don't give any credit to Usyk.
It's ridiculous.
They're going to fucking complain that we're going to give it to Usyk in the rematch. They're going to say that Usyk's going to be the winner. These people can never... Like,
But switch it up to what though? You know what I mean?
I don't know,
like,
man.
What do you think they mean by that? Like, what is he supposed to do?
Empty words.
The whole like just attack him, go in there, just go fucking
let his hands go. Let his
Nintendo on him.
He can't fight like Trezora. You understand? He can't just chase Usyk around like a madman, like Trezora did. He'll gas out, and that's what Usyk's trainer understands. That every round that fight goes into deeper water. Honestly, it's a problem for AJ rather than Usyk. Usyk against any of these heavyweights, the deeper the fight goes, and they don't catch up to him and land some serious shots on him, and I'm talking about body shots, slow him down. The further it goes into the fight, the more jeopardy a real heavyweight is in fighting like that. So Chisora, you see, he got hurt. He ran into a shot win, 7th or 8th round. And Usyk knows that too. That's why Usyk, when he did hurt him, when he did get his attention or whatever, when he connected clean in the 3rd round, why he didn't jump on him and go for it. Because Josh was still very, very dangerous at that point. And that's why he didn't throw more fucking body shots.
Exactly.
To throw a body shot against the heavyweight, you got to stick your head down there to do it.
He got hurt too.
And if he throws a hook at the same time, you're fucked up.
If he was fighting
the best thing he could have done for the body is straight leads, like straight jab to the body, do it levels, but he didn't do it.
Yeah, but in other words, it's a trade off, right? He got to figure he's up in the fight. Number one, you can't fight at that pace the whole fight. That's number one. You seen him fight the first 2 rounds.
And body shots that hurt the most. Open yourself up for knockouts.
Yeah. And
put yourself in a position to make a body. Yeah, exactly. Because you're in the fucking hothouse then.
And AJ, that's why AJ can't come out like a maniac and fight like Chisora does. That's how Wilder gets in trouble, because he swings like a fuking maniac and he walks into shots. You know.
All right, guys, we're gonna take let's take a phone call here. 509, you're on the air. 509.
Hi guys, this is Senpai from the Discord, and what I want to say is just that. Well, first of all, I put it down on the Discord if you guys want to look at proof, but I did say Usyk by late stoppage because I thought that towards the end, Usyk was going to start picking up the pressure and Joshua was not going to be able to stay there with him. And I guess that's kind of what happened, but what did surprise me was how Usyk started off so quick. I didn't expect that, and that really surprised me. And, well, like what you guys were talking about, the people that are saying that Joshua could win if he just changes the game plan, if he just roughs him up. He did try. He did, but he just couldn't. Every time that Joshua would try to go in there, he'd either be hit with the feint, with the jab, or with the straight left, you know? And it's not that simple. It's just changing a game plan like that.
Right.
And yeah, and then lastly, the thing about Usyk that I loved about him is that he went out, and actually since like the 9th round, 9th, 10th, those championship rounds, he went out to win them. Even though he had a sizable lead, he went out and he beat the shit out of Joshua. He could have just coasted, just ran around, tried to showboat like a lot of these fighters do. But no, he went out there, he went straight at him, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is, Carla, hey brother, he actually didn't. Remember, one referee had it 115, 113.
Yeah.
I mean, one judge. So, you know what I mean? That could have been very risky. I think he needed to constantly put it on him because they were in London. You know what I mean? He's the hometown fighter. I agree with what you're saying. He was winning, but that could have been dangerous for him.
Yeah, no, I get you. It's just that, you know, with a lot of fighters, like, for example, the Brazilian that beat Valdez, the Corson Sal, I thought he was winning. I mean, I had it closer than a lot of people, but I thought he was winning. Then in the last 2-3 rounds, he just started running around, showboating instead of, you know, trying to let his hands go. You know, unlike Usyk went out there and took those rounds.
Yeah, because he was fighting. He knew what could happen if he started just moving, basically, and he was gonna get robbed, in my opinion. All right, caller, thanks for that phone call. We're gonna move on. Take care.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, let's take another phone call. 562, you're on the air. 562.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, I want to ask you guys, when you think for the rematch, do you think it's going to be one that's going to have to go to another country again, or do you think it's going to be in the UK?
I don't know. Where's the money?
I think they. What's up?
Where is the money?
Probably Middle East, like Ruiz, Joshua too.
I could see that. Mr. BDA, go ahead.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn talked about that. He's pretty adamant about keeping it in the UK. He almost even chuckled when somebody suggested that they do it in the Ukraine, almost like he's not even entertaining it. But look, I don't know what the contract stipulates in regards to the rematch clause and all that. But you have to assume. Look at the crowd AJ got. I mean, and I don't think Usyk really cares where it is. I mean, this guy has won every major fight on the road. But I don't see what would make it. I'm pretty sure you could do big numbers in the Ukraine. Finally,
Now, but the thing is, it's location. They could have it at a stadium, but there's nothing nearby, and there's the site fees. I don't know, and then there's the political unrest there that could play a part in it. But again, it should be up to Usyk. He's the champion.
It's up to Hearn, and he's going to set it like Butcher said. Whoever's bringing a site fee, if the Saudis want to do it, if the fucking Qataris want to do it, if Vegas wants to do it, then it's going to be whoever makes the best business sense for them. They could do a big fight in Ukraine for a live gate. They could, numbers wise, but they did a huge gate. What was that? 80,000? How many people were in that stadium?
50 plus
70,000, I think.
50,000.
Yeah, 70,000. 50,000. There was 90,000. Klitschko. I mean, it's a lot of fucking people, but
yeah.
All right, 30,000 Didn't he for another fighter too? I'm surprised.
Jimmy, let's let the caller finish his point. Caller, go ahead. Anything else?
No, man. I think this is looking really bad for Joshua. I think he's found someone a lot harder than how Ruiz taught him a lesson. I think this is just like another level up. He's gonna have to. He's got to change a lot of things, but I think this is the end for him, honestly. Because the way he's built, Usyk's style, how he doesn't get tired. It's going to really be mentally tough for Joshua.
Exactly.
That's my final saying.
Good call, man. Thanks for calling. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Because, I mean, Daniel Ruiz, he beat AJ, but AJ just physically, he wasn't as fast as Ruiz, but he's just bigger, stronger. He had those advantages. When it comes to Usyk, I mean, he's bigger, but other than that, it's like
he's not skilled. But the thing is that he said he had the best training camp he ever had, best condition he's ever been in.
Yeah,
he said that. So in his mind, he trained harder than he's ever trained. Think about that. Going back to your fucking $100 million in the bank, going, man, do I got to go through that and then do it harder again? You know what I mean? It's put all those human emotions into it.
Jimmy,
could have hung it up after Ruiz.
Well, Jimmy's disagreeing with Roy Jones because Roy Jones said that Usyk cannot get better, but AJ can. So there is hope for AJ.
Wait a minute. Oh, maybe I'm misunderstanding Jimmy then, but I think AJ will be back. He's the.
I think I'm misunderstanding Jimmy then. I think I'm misunderstanding myself too.
You're misunderstanding Roy Jones.
If they're going to rematch, I hope it just happens sooner than later. Let everybody get healed up because they both took some damage, and let's keep on the schedule here. Get it going. I still think they're the first and second heavyweights in the division. First and second best heavyweights in the division. So
so AJ will be back. Of course.
Oh, sorry, go brother.
No, just AJ is gonna come back. Yeah, but can he come back and be what he was? The heavyweight champion, the unified heavyweight champion. Is he gonna reach that level again? Of course.
So question is, can he beat Usyk in a rematch?
Yes. But there's an injury we don't know about, right? The level, you know it's injured, but you don't know the extent of the injury, which is his brain. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't know how much this loss has affected him.
I don't know how smart he was.
He goes beyond that, man.
Of course, he could win in a rematch.
What did you say, Lucho? He's young.
No, I said it goes beyond that. I think like the mental thing. I mean, just
exactly.
I'm with the caller. Exactly, I don't see how he can beat Usyk. Like I could see how he could beat Ruiz in the rematch, but in this fight, I really don't see what the fuck he can do.
Well, I bet you Stu would give us a good fucking go on this, huh?
Oh,
Stewart had some funny, some fucking.
When Joshua lost to Luis in the first one, he said Joshua should jump off a bridge. Oh, no, sorry, no, that's not what he said. But he was really going after Joshua, like, man, this guy sucks, blah blah. But look, listen, going back to the what should Joshua do in the rematch, I think he's got a good chance of winning. Now, the big thing that people are saying
should
now
I
is,
bet on it?
Well, he should go after Usyk the way Chisora did. But that, like we already pointed out, that's not the best strategy because he's going to tire himself out. And let's not forget that if he goes after Usyk, he's going to give Usyk more chances to counter off of him. The other thing is, there's always a chance of improving, right? Because some people are going to say, look at Fury against Wilder. He fought one fight in a different style and then the other in a completely different one. In the rematch, he went after him. But Fury had already shown that he could fight that way against Wallin and against Cunningham. We've never seen Joshua take it to somebody. He's a boxer puncher. He likes to fight at the mid-range. He likes to jab his way in a couple of combinations here and there and then wear guys down. He's not going to go in there and then all of a sudden show us inside fighting because he's never really done that consistently.
Small adjustments at this level. Adjustments. And the good thing is they're going to have like a year to do it. So it's like adjustments.
I would think he needs some major adjustments in his training philosophy anyway.
Yeah.
At this point in time, like, a guy like Wilder, you could say that, right? In other words, this guy just needs to fucking wise up and get serious about this because he's a fucking mess in between fights. He just does whatever he wants to do. He's not getting it. So at this point, a guy like AJ and Usyk, who seem to be the opposite of that, what do you suggest? What's the major change?
A trainer. Changes everywhere. Everything is. I know he's probably been training the same guy at the same place. I would go to the United States, get rid of distractions, focus. When you have comfort around you, like there's a reason Marvin Hagler had everything he needed to train here, but he would go off up to the Catskills, stay in this ice cold cabin, and just live miserable. It made him angry. He get pissed, and it would help him trade. That's what he needed to do. He would send himself, like he called it, to hell for 8 weeks. And they would take out on the person he was fighting.
Well, what about like if you from the perspective of physicality, and some people are saying just AJ's body, there's just this physical limitation that he can't really do anything about it. When fighting a guy like Usyk, those limitations are like exposed. He's just fucking too slow for that guy. You know what I mean?
He could lose another 15 pounds.
Are you serious?
Seriously. Take some more muscle off his shoulders. He still doesn't need that much girth in his traps. That's not helping his punches. Look at Tommy Hearns. You know what I mean? You don't have to have that much muscle in your upper girdle, which carries off.
But he's a guy that looks like when he loses weight, I've met a few people like that. I think even like I behaved in that kind of way where you lose muscle weight and you start fighting like a boxer. You're not as aggressive. He's one of those dudes that he looks like he has to be pumped up to go for the kill, and I think that's the only way he can beat Usyk. I don't think he could box with him, man. I get the feeling with him, muscle weight is all mental. He loses the weight, fights kind of passive. He puts on some weight.
I agree with you not to box with him, and I still think he needs a brawler style, but a little less weight, just to make him carry whatever he has to do to get his lungs, because he was guppy in those last few rounds.
I agree,
he was just so much slower in the feet, man.
I agree with recognize, man. There's some people out there that what?
No, go ahead. Finish your point and let me say something.
Wait, just real quick, yeah. Some people lose because when I lose 20, 30 pounds, I become a boxer. But when I'm at a solid 210, ripped, shredded, and tight, I go all out, man. Now, but real quick, you know what? To Jimmy's point, maybe Joshua, maybe not change completely of trainer. You know what I mean? Not replace it, but just like you said, maybe he can keep the same trainer. Just go out there in the United States and spar more. Maybe get a couple of pointers from different trainers. He doesn't necessarily have to change trainers, and I don't think he will because he seems to be pretty loyal to this guy. I mean, that's the thing. You lose a fight doesn't mean it's because you lost it because you had a bad trainer. It just means you lost it because the other guy was better than you.
Well, it's a fair suggestion because I don't even know who his trainer is. Like, who's his trainer? Jimmy might be right on the money here. Who is his trainer?
I don't know, some British guy. I forgot his name, man.
Yeah, McCracken. Yeah.
Well, doesn't that also depend if that was his trainer's game plan? If Joshua fought to his trainer's game plan and he lost that bad, is he going to be like, well, dude, should I listen to you again? Because you obviously implemented the wrong game plan. We don't know if that was how much of it was Joshua's idea or was it, Phil McCracken's?
Jimmy, but AJ can always go back to that Ruiz fight. The same scenario. He lost the first fight. He won the second one. Didn't switch trainers. Why can't it happen again? Is that belief?
Because he's not a rowy-poey Mexican man. He's Usyk. He's going to need a little bit more than just shedding 15 pounds up his upper like he did last time. Right now, serious all kidding aside, I just think he needs to do something. Because that fight could have went on another 12 rounds. He wasn't going to get any better.
He was about to get stopped, in my opinion. So
yeah, he was.
A red fucking flag, man. Guys, Eparokua in the chat says, send AJ to train with Canelo. He will surely get the win. You know, Vato. Ha ha ha. Imagine if he goes and trains with Eddie Reynoso.
There'd be stupider things. Why not? Fuck it. He seems to have a hot hand right now.
Yeah, people would start saying he's a fucking juice head. But people already say that about him. So yeah, why not?
You think that
you have nothing to lose.
AJ, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Booch.
Go ahead.
Think AJ's better than Fury and Wilder?
You think AJ's better than Fury?
I don't think he's better than Fury.
I don't think he's better. I think he's better than Wilder. Yeah.
You don't think
better than Wilder?
Not better than Fury.
So Jimmy's got him like third in the division, and Bucho's got him like third for a different.
The thing is that what's his name? Fury's more durable. He's just proven to be overall more durable, and he can fight chest to chest, or he can fight completely on the outside. Joshua can handle himself at the mid range, but he's not the type of guy that can consistently fight chest to chest if he has to. Fury has shown that if he wants to survive, he can clinch and maul and use his height advantage and reach advantage and weight advantage. Joshua not really. So, yeah, I definitely think Fury has proven to be better in terms of styles. He doesn't have that resume AJ had, but I do think he's a better fighter. That's why I picked, if they ever fought, I would have picked Fury to beat Joshua.
Yeah, me too. And I think Fury has the best chance of beating Usyk because he could just bend at the hip, bend at the waist, and shoot his jab. Bend away, bend to his right as he's throwing his left. And it'll be very hard. There'll be so much space there for Usyk to cover. He'd use that circus size to go to his advantage.
Yeah, man.
In the chat, George Hall says McCracken was blamed when AJ was fighting on the inside. He needs to box at range. In which fight was he criticized for that? Rohan says AJ, yeah, probably. AJ isn't willing to trade punches and probably doesn't have the conditioning to not gas out. Can't keep the pressure on for 12 rounds. Good point.
Well,
Usyk never took a step back. Usyk never took a step back, which was the plan. Don't start giving up ground like you did.
Well, he did a bit. At some
I'm
point,
talking about full, circling the ring to where you're.
Yeah.
That's Chizore's best shot because as the fight goes on, once again, any heavyweight at that kind of pace is going to gas. So he comes right out and tries to get it done in the first 4 rounds and clip this guy. Smaller guy, try to clip him.
Did you guys like?
Okay.
No,
it's true. It's true because that was a game plan from Usyk. It's true, but I just because now I started to remember that AJ jab. Did you guys like that jab? It was like a pawing jab sometimes.
It was lazy.
Lazy. Why would you do that? Why was he doing that?
You know why, dude? You know why he does that, bro?
Why?
Because he's trying to put himself. He does that because he's trying to put himself in a position to grab the back of him or grab his shoulder and pull him into punches. That's such a natural. Like you saw him do that every time he got tired or if he was a little rocked. He tried to hold the back of his head and pull him into a punch a few times. Yeah. You pointed to him every time he did it, like, what the fuck, dude? And he also low-balled him. He caught him in the nuts a few times. The ref missed a lot of that shit, I thought.
You talking about from like the first few rounds, Bucho?
Yeah, even the first few rounds, though, Jim. Yeah, exactly, Pete. Even from the beginning, he was that jab
like
was
a range finding. Yeah, it's like a range finding thing, like Deontay Wilder does. He doesn't really even throw.
But you know the right's gonna
hits it
follow up.
out and back. Problem is with Usyk's front hand, that whole idea of that boxing style is using your dominant hand up front is to take away the other guy's jab. It's to hook over it. It's to parry it. I mean, it's like it'd be so hard to do with your offhand. Not so hard. It's so much harder to do that with your offhand. But when your dominant hand's up front, it's very it lets you be able to come in and out. And as far as AJ's right hand, I mean, after a certain point in time, man, he's just trying to keep his hands at home because every time he throws something, he's getting countered. He just could not keep up with the speed, the head movement.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you guys see? What did you think of? Talk about change of trainers. What did you think of Callum Smith? I'll tell you, he looked like that made a difference, and he starched a durable kid in the second round.
Hey, before we go, I just wanted to say about the Joshua thing. You're right, man. That's why I didn't think about it, but now that you mentioned it, it's true. That's why he's always got that lead hand extended because he wants to. As soon as guys get inside his range, he'll grab him behind the head and try to whack him. It's
exactly.
Yeah, I think he learned that from Vladimir Klitschko because he was a master of doing that, just grabbing guys behind the head and either turning them or pushing them down towards his crotch.
You know why he did that? He did that because he's a communist.
Oh, wait a minute.
Damn communist.
But
I'll go with that.
I noticed that when we watched the fight. A lot of times he's leaving it out there. I thought he was just being super lazy. Then I realized after he kind of leave it out, he'd kind of reach a little, like hook with it, trying to grab him, and he kept missing him because Usyk would just parry to the side.
That's right, yeah. And also, if I may just say one last thing before we read the super chat. Pete mentioned Usyk walking Joshua down. That was exactly the plan. Stay in front of him and don't try to take a step back as little as possible. In other words, if you do take a step back, step right back in there. And in fact, we talked about that before the fight because we kept saying, look, the Chisora fight, he had to fight him off the back foot because Chisora was coming at him. But we showed people the footage of when he fought Junior Fa and Joe Joyce, two taller heavyweights, just like Joshua, big and strong. How did he fight him? He pushed them back because now he's punching up instead of punching down at a guy like Chisora.
I think that's how Usyk is more comfortable pushing you back.
Exactly.
He's right. I mean, look, can he fight off the back foot if he has to? I'm sure, but I think his zone is, I'm gonna come forward. I'm gonna end up backing you up.
Yeah, he's a pressure fighter.
Pressure fighter. He's very calculated the way he pressures you. Right. It's not like your conventional just. I'm a bigger man, or I'm a much more powerful puncher than you. It's not. It's like this.
He's not. Yeah, he's not.
Movement. Yeah, and these sharp punches that he knows how to deliver them at the right time when you don't see it coming.
Like Loma moving up
doesn't
in weight
mentally
classes.
let you relax.
Well, yeah, it's like when Loma moves up in weight classes, he can't just act like he's in 126 when he's fighting these 135-pound guys. Just can't do it. It's fucking suicidal. So it's like. Yeah, he's a pressure fighter, and that's his style, and that's what style he's gonna try to execute. But he needs to be a little more careful how he does it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where the overlap comes in with the trainer too, because obviously I think Lomachenko's dad has a good idea of what that's about. Even when he switches between Usyk and Loma, it's really the same set of circumstances that he's dealing with both, right? At this point, even though Usyk's filling in the weight, I mean. Even Usyk understands that he can't hit AJ with a left hand and then go and jump on him. It just fucking can't happen. The physics don't work out. And these guys understand how good of a punch it was by the way it feels on their own hand, So it's like,
yeah,
he did knock AJ back a couple of times, but he noticed he didn't jump on him.
I need to do this before I forget. Super chat, Chico Blanco Verano. Thank you for a contribution. He says, Usyk is kryptonite to Fury. Usyk will make Fury look slow and plodding. Fury is designed to beat other big heavyweights, but he will struggle with a smaller guy who is just way too fast and active for him. Interesting, Chico, man.
I never thought I'd say this, but I agree with Chico.
Yeah,
completely.
And I never said that. I don't even know. But yeah, you make a lot of sense, man. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, please. That's going to help the...
90 seconds.
Shut up. That's going to help the show. Also, don't forget that we have a BDA membership program where you have access to special emojis and exclusive exclusive film analysis. So make sure you subscribe to the membership program. Just click on the join button next to the subscribe button. Chico was saying about the smaller heavyweights. It's true. Hey, would you guys like to see more cruiserweights move up in weight?
No.
I'd like to see smaller heavyweights in general. I think they make for better fights. I don't like the circus fucking heavyweight scene. I didn't like it when it started going that route in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, you could just go look back at heavyweight fights of the 70s and 80s. There was so much more fucking punches thrown, and the bigger they are, obviously, it's just fucking, you can't just throw that kind of volume. Unless you're sauced out of your fucking mind. And that's another thing. I just want to say, a lot of people say, oh, fucking, he don't touch Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield is way better of a cruiserweight. He's a distant second. It's like, Evander Holyfield was a walking fucking chem lab. Let's be fucking honest. That dude was on fucking copious amounts of drugs, dude.
Are you talking about Evansfield?
What's that?
Evansfield. What was his fake name? Evan Fields.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Evan Fields was a steroid user. You don't have no proof on Holyfield though.
Listen, Holyfield was a good boxer. He had a lot of heart. He fought with a defective heart or something like that, for a long time.
Yeah,
right?
Listen, if I were hard pressed to say, I would say Usyk is probably on something too. He's gotta be. I mean, you think these guys make it to the Olympic Games? They become top level amateurs, and they don't give their country doesn't give them anything. I'm suspicious. But that being said, officially he's never been caught. Holyfield, right. I mean, like Jimmy has always said, because I've often asked him, is it true that trap size is an indicator of juicing?
Oh,
and he's said multiple times. Look at Holyfield's traps between the Douglas fight, and then look at him against Tyson, and he's got some fucking big ass. Maybe I'm saying
that doesn't happen naturally. That just doesn't happen. I
like that.
You guys have all been working out your whole lives, going to gyms. How many natural dudes you see with traps like that? You just
only me. But now when I'm saying
but come on, they also broke the mold too.
You're a phenom, right? So this is a difference.
And also, I just want to say real quick, let's not forget. Jeez, look at that! Look, Butcher just posted the photograph. Man, my God, don't tell me that guy's not on something. But real quick, also Holyfield was 6'1", right? Whereas Usyk
6'2". I think 6'2".
Holyfield 6'2". Yeah, Holyfield 6'2". I mean 6'1", 6'2". Who cares? But
whatever. He wasn't 6'3" though.
6'.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can add muscle, but you don't change your muscular frame. You don't change the structure of your body, and that changed on him. That only happens one way: growth hormone.
Yeah, look at Leon Spinks though. Leon Spinks. Sorry, not Leon Spinks. Michael Spinks. He didn't look like that. He could have. I don't think Michael Spinks took anything though.
Well, he was with Mikey Shieldstone, and I don't know if Shieldstone got these guys natural or whether because when remember Roy Jones, man, when he fucking went up to heavyweight, I mean
he took something.
He looked like it, yeah, sure. I mean it's difficult to say, right? But one thing I will say, Holyfield was on drugs and all that, but he was a heck of a fighter, man. His heart,
there you go,
out of this world. I mean, there was a guy a while back in the message board, anonymous guy. He used to be. He claims to have been a sparring partner for all these guys. He didn't give his name because he said it wouldn't matter. Because even if I give you my name, he says you would never have heard of me. He said he only had about 3-4 professional fights, but he said he sparred Tua. He said he sparred Foreman, Bo, and Holyfield. And he said Holyfield might not have been as big as those guys, but he could dart in and out like nobody's fucking business. And like the guy said, before I thought I had a shot, like, oh, okay, I got him. Oh, he's not there anymore. So Holyfield had that good footwork too, but just Usyk with that slight height advantage, maybe speed advantage as well. I mean, it's just, I don't know if Holyfield... You guys think Holyfield could have beaten Joshua?
Yes. I think if you put them in the ring enough times, he beats. Like
late rounds.
I could see him beating. Look, man, I love what Usyk did. I always knew he could do this, man. But I don't like comparing this era shit. I think it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's tough. Exactly.
Because Holyfield was great for his time, and he beat big heavyweights that brought pressure, power. Riddick Bowe, he's had. Go look at some of his knockouts. He had some deadly knockouts in his career. He's fighting a guy. I mean, Bo ended up knocking him out. But how did Bo knock him out? Holyfield was trying to crush him, trying to knock him out. Holyfield had just dropped him, had hurt him several times, was going for the kill, and got caught with a big shot. Okay, and he got knocked out. I mean, it happens. So, yeah, I don't like doing that. If the eye test tells me Usyk was a better skill fighter than him, but I'm not gonna say, oh, Usyk would have destroyed him, killed him. I mean, you got to go back in time.
Yeah, it's a fantasy fight. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't mind somebody saying I think Usyk beats him. Yeah, but like I wouldn't say it with a definite, certainty. I don't know that.
Because I mean, like I was talking about was just they were putting him in the list of history, not so much fighting each other, but where they ranked in cruiserweight history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think Usyk's run was a little bit better. Yeah, in my opinion.
I think he faced tougher competition.
Yep.
Guys, 19 pro fights. Check it out. He unified the cruiserweight division in the 4-belt era, won the World Series Super Series of Boxing, and won the unified heavyweight championship in 19 pro fights.
That's under 20 fights. And that's what him and his little brother, that's what I call him, Lomachenko's little brother.
Lomachenko.
They came in there. When I started seeing what they were doing, I was like, okay, the number is 20, and they want to see what they can do in those 20 fights. They want to like rack up titles, some type of history. And I knew that's what they were going for. That's why I automatically became fans of both guys. Because they were like, they weren't trying to pad their records. They're just going to go for it,
What about the detractors? How can you sit there and be an honest person? How disingenuous can you sit there and call yourself a fucking Tank fan and shit on Lomachenko? It's just like
can't do that.
So you can't. It doesn't make sense. There's nobody doing what the Eastern Europeans are doing. They're putting Americans to shame.
In regards to the Holyfield thing, with the Joshua, yeah, I think he would have been Joshua because it's been a while, but I'm rewatching the second Bo fight. Bo was, I always thought Bo was like 6'4". He's 6'5". Again, some people say, okay, that's not that big a difference, but 6'5", that's around more to Joshua's height. And Holyfield was able to get inside, and we all know Joshua has confidence issues. Now, of course, like Recognize said, if they fight 5 times, Joshua takes some of them because he just hits so fucking hard, and he can Holyfield jumping in there would give him plenty of opportunities to catch him. But let's not also forget Holyfield also potentially beat Lewis in the rematch. The first one was where he just, Lewis should have gotten the decision. But the second one, for some reason, I don't know if it's because Lewis took him lightly or something, or maybe just Holyfield stepped it up. But actually, Holyfield, I've talked to some people that feel that he could have taken the second one, the decision.
Well, hey, BDA, do you remember one thing about, you guys were talking about him earlier, the heavyweight you were just talking about, it was 6'5"?
Bo,
Riddick Bowe. I guess he was notoriously lazy. Like, they had to really, really get on him all the time to train, which kind of makes sense. After he left professional boxing, after retired, he joined the Army, wanted to do special forces. He didn't even make it to training camp.
Whoa.
He got a general discharge under honorable conditions. He couldn't handle the boot camp.
He couldn't handle the discipline, probably, right? Somebody telling him what to do.
And just it was too much physically on him, on his body to get up and run. He was just he's a big dude for that. The reason why most Navy SEAL guys are 5'9", 5'10", 180 pounds. It's very hard to be 6'3", 6'5" to do that.
What was amazing about Riddick Bowe is how big his fucking hands were. I saw him in person. Holy shit, yo, BDA, when I tell you, this dude had fucking mitts. Like, I have decent sized hands for a guy my size. He made my hands look like baby hands. I was like, oh shit, this guy could break a man's fucking whole one side of his face if he caught it really good.
And Holyfield was taking those fucking punches. Holy shit.
And Holyfield was taking his punches. Now think about that for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
Holyfield taking those guys' punches, man.
That's insane.
I'm watching the fight, the Bo Holyfield fight. Holyfield's taking it to him, just like he did against Lewis years later. And these two guys, the stamina they have, I mean, Bo was notoriously lazy, like Jimmy said, but he was able to go 12 rounds against these guys and go hard. Joshua, though, that's the big thing, though. He has the technique too and the punching power, and these guys are rolling with the shots too very well. Joshua, I know he can block and parry and all that, but rolling, I don't know. I think these guys used to have a little bit more guile to their defense. But I mean, look, don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to get at is how good a win this is for Usyk from a historical standpoint. It's pretty good, pretty freaking good. But Holyfield, man, he had some heavyweight whoppers of his own.
Yeah, of course it was, man. Historically, it's a great win. You know, it's gonna cement his legacy. If he never has a fight again, he walks right in. You know, 19 fights, all the stuff that Jimmy mentioned that he accomplished, automatically that gets you in. You know,
that's crazy. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, a cruiserweight,
absolutely
undisputed champion. Then and then a heavyweight, unified heavyweight champion. And let's not forget what he did in his amateur career. You know,
in the Super Series too, brother. That's a big accomplishment. That had a lot of killers in that fucking thing. You know what I mean? That was a good tournament. I sent that thing, by the way, guys. I don't know if you saw it. He only lasted 11 days in the Marine Corps, and he cited I couldn't handle the regiment, the physical regiment.
But I don't get it. What did he think was going to happen? Like he thought it was going to be vacation time or something? Or
I don't know. Did you see what I sent?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, right. A lot of people don't know about that. I think what happened, he saw like Black Hawk Down or something, and he got his fucking got a chubby for it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be a soldier. Had some money, figured, fuck it, right? And you know, probably they said physical regiment, but it also could have been I'm a millionaire and I got a fucking DI calling me a fat bag of shit. You know what I mean? Like, he might not have enjoyed that.
Yeah, but you know, what's he gonna do? Like,
treated him any different?
Yeah, he's not gonna go on like through barbed wire and jump fences and shit. Like, I mean, she's too big for that shit, man. Like,
and too rich, like Jimmy said.
And too rich.
You guys, you saw that fucking movie, Full Metal Jacket. Imagine that DI working on him.
You know what would have happened, Jimmy? What would have happened is that
I'm reading it here on Google. Apparently, the guy snuck a donut into his into
jelly.
I was gonna say, man, like
guess what the rest of us fucking do push-ups.
I'm telling you, man, Riddick Bowe would have been hit by bar soaps while he was sleeping at night.
Oh, that's good.
All right, guys, we gotta go, man. We a short show today, 2 hours, but we'll be back. You guys can stay on Discord if you want. I'm gonna bounce, but thank you for joining us on Discord. See you.
Yeah, I got a fly too tonight, guys. So you guys all have a great night.
All right, see ya. Everybody on YouTube, you can still hear me. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. I want to thank everybody who donated. And yep, we'll be back. Guys, we got to get ready for Wilder Fury. Some of you are not that excited about that fight. Some of you, like Dead Game, are very excited about that fight. We're going to have to talk about it. So I want you guys to call in and let us know what you think about that fight. I might start getting hyped up in about a few days. Give me some time. We just had this big fight. I need some time to get into this other big fight. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Take care. Oh, that's not the song I wanted.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead. Shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're heavy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're heavy because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.